All right, let's go with Glenn Beck, who is live from his garage. Oh, I see. So, hold on. This is Glenn. This is Action Sweater Glenn Beck. Over to the right over here is the studio we've seen that looks like the corner of a cabin or some shit, because I recognize this chair. So they rotated him around, and now we're seeing his fancy cars and his giant silver dildo. I don't know what this is. He's got a giant phallus made out of Jiffy Pop. I'm not quite sure what this is. He's got a lower back pillow over here. Dude has plenty of microphones, and I appreciate him taking out one of his earpieces. The hearts on the videos later, Spicy Dragon. Right now, there's just in the chat, you'll see the super chat availability. That's the way you can support the show while it's live. When it's not live, there's a thing on some of the other ones. And if it's not, it's on some of them, not all of them. There you go. So Glenn responds to the New York Times January 6 falsehoods. When a statement is taken out of context so blatantly to serve a narrative, it becomes a lie, says Glenn Beck, running interference for the people who tased a cop till he had a heart attack. Right.
The great arbiter of all truth, the New York Times, published an article yesterday.
Somebody's been making out with DeSantis. Somebody's got the gunk.
The headline, Election Falsehoods.
Oh, yeah, straight up. Yeah, so Glenn, is the family making you sleep in the garage? Are you Omicron? You're lonesome? You're lonesome right now?
Surged on podcasts before Capitol riots, researchers find. What is this story about? Well, I'll tell you, this story is clearly just targeting podcasts and radio. That's all it is.
Is it?
Now that
just the concept of podcast and radio. They've had a problem with it since the 20s.
Still losing because they can't silence us. I was told, go online. We don't want you here. You'll have to build your own thing. Well, I did. Now they see how
now you're in a garage. Congratulations. Now you've got 3 studios, and you can't, and you're not allowed in any of them.
If it is, and now they can't have us online. Here's the subheadline. A new study analyzed nearly 1,500 episodes showing the extent to which podcasts pushed misinformation about voter fraud. Now, the article opens mentioning me. Clearly from the outset, they're accusing me of...
Yes, cut away so that we don't have to see him wiping his snot on his sleeve. Is that what's happening?
Election falsehoods. It says it in the headline.
I'm not really... I hear you, but I'm not really listening to you, Glenn. Nobody is. And by the way, I'm just saying this never would have happened to you when you were on CNN.
Serious charge. Accusing me of lying to this audience about the election and voter fraud. So with that in mind, I want to read the opening paragraph of this article from the New York Times. Read
it in one fell swoop, because I think you're gonna cough something up that looks like it's from Stranger Things season 2.
For the 2020 presidential election, the conservative broadcaster Glenn Beck outlined his prediction for how Election Day would unfold. President Donald J. Trump would be winning that night, but his lead would erode as dubious mail-in ballots arrived, giving Joe R. Biden Jr. an unlikely edge. Now, the next line is a quote. That's something I said on radio in 2020. Quote, no one will believe the outcome because they've changed the way we're electing a president this time. End quote. Now, since the New York Times is the great arbiter of all truth, I'm almost certain that the article didn't go through any fact-check, PolitiFact, Snopes, any of Facebook's army of fact-checking referees. The New York Times has one of those get away with our version of the truth scot-free cards.
Dude, seriously, is he back on camera? Oh yeah, so he's out for a little bit and he comes back on at some point. Look at that. I don't know what's happening in the middle of this. Does he hold up like oxygen tubes to his nose for a couple of minutes and then takes it off and they go, now you can roll on me?
They can play at any time. But as usual, it's context that is left on the cutting room floor. Context. Yeah. It's inconvenient when it comes to character assassination attempts like this one. But here is why context always matters. Because when
Glenn, take a day, dude. If you're that successful and things are going that well, take 3 fucking days. Take a goddamn nap. Have some soup. Nobody needs this shit. Again, I don't like you, but I don't need you killing yourself for this stupid message. Nobody cares. Just disappear like DeSantis.
Is taken blatantly out of context in order to serve your narrative. It is the equivalent of a lie. Before I get to the context with the New York Times conveniently left on the cutting room floor, I should note that there's a new study this article references, and it's from the Brookings Institution, a century-old D.C. think tank. Now, if you don't know who the Brookings Institution is, let me tell you.
I think they're related to the Brookings Institute, right? Is the Brookings Institution, are they next door or across the street as the Brookings Institute? I often get them mixed up. You know, when you walk up and you walk up to the door and you're like, oh, institution. I'm sorry, I meant to go to the Brookings Institute.
It is noteworthy that the former Brookings Institute analyst named Igor...
He recognized the number on the door was different.
Danchenko. Do you remember who he was, Stu? Igor Danchenko.
No, I don't remember that.
Igor Danchenko. At the Brookings Institute? Is Stu in a hermetically sealed chamber? I'm just saying he's got some comorbidities.
Know the name, though, right?
I mean, it sounds familiar, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, hey, look at that. There you go. He's doing it from... Stu's in the regular studio. Studio. Yeah.
He was the man who claimed to have knowledge about cooperation between the Trump campaign and Vladimir Putin. He's the guy that's just been indicted. Igor Danchenko.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
He's the guy who passed the information to Christopher Steele. Now he's been charged with lying to investigators about the information. That guy came from the Brookings Institute.
Oh, I see. And he didn't lie about who is that. We looked into this guy once before. Igor. And whoops. Brookings. Yeah, we looked at this before. New York Times. And by the way, since he's citing the New York Times, I think it's only fair. Authorities arrest analyst who contributed to the Steele dossier, Igor Danchenko, a Russian analyst who worked with Christopher Steele, the author of the dossier of rumors and unproven assertions about Donald J. Trump. Yeah, but not disproven, just for the record, was indicted as part of the Durham investigation. Now, what? What? An analyst was key contributor to the Democratic-funded opposition, well, after the Washington Free Beacon sold it. Research into possible link between Donald J. Trump and Russia was arrested on Thursday, charged with lying to the FBI about his sources. Analyst Igor Danchenko was a primary researcher for the claims that went into the so-called Steele dossier, compendium of rumors, 39-page indictment obtained by the special counsel. Grand jury accused Mr. Danchenko of 5 counts of making false statements to the FBI about his sources for certain claims in the dossier. The indictment showed that 2.5 years after the then attorney William Barr appointed him to scour the Trump-Russia investigation, tends to press ahead. Okay, special counsel's investigation is ongoing, blah, blah, blah. Danchenko appeared before a magistrate judge, enter a plea of not guilty, but the judge said that was premature before releasing Mr. Danchenko on bond. Dossier has played a vivid role. Trump campaign Russia, blah, blah, blah. Robert Mueller did not rely upon it in his final report. But some claims from the dossier made their way to the FBI wiretap application targeting a former campaign advisor, Carter Page, which, by the way, the changes in that actually made it less likely that they would re-up the wiretap on Carter Page. In October 2016, 3 renewal applications a year, particularly salacious claim about a purported blackmail tape, caused a political media firestorm, blah, blah, blah. Most important claims in the dossier have not been proven, and some have been refuted, including Mr. Mueller. FBI agents Danchenko, first false statement charged in the indictment concerns Mr. Danchenko's interactions with a person the indictment describes as a public relations executive with strong ties to the Democratic Party. The indictment said Mr. Danchenko falsely told the FBI that he had not discussed the claims in the dossier with the PR executive. But the indictment said the executive, who in his professional career frequently interacted with Eurasian clients with a particular focus on Russia, was a source of some of the claims, including gossip about the ouster of Paul Manafort as Mr. Trump's campaign chairman, which was not central to any of that other shit, by the way. Again, less likely to point the finger at Trump in that regard, if it, did not name the person, but it's PR executive one, but its description matched Charles Dolan Jr., who was the state chairman of the Clinton-Gore campaigns in Virginia in 92 and 96, and was appointed to a position in the State Department in the Clinton administration. Mr. Dolan, who was earlier named in declaration by Mr. Dolan's lawyer, Ralph Martin, confirmed in an email that his client was the executive named in the indictment, but we looked over all this stuff once before as well. And then Dolan President Tour, I'm trying to see if they say at one point, yeah, it was just about who he talked to. None about the substance of the claims. There's nothing that attacks the substance of the claims is the point.
It's also noteworthy that the donors include the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Facebook.
It's also noteworthy that one should not gargle clamshells before doing their television show.
Amazon, Microsoft, Comcast, NBC Universal, BlackRock Financial, the United Nations Foundation, the Embassy of the State of Qatar, and dozens more. So it's not really a credible operation. But the study was ready to be released on Tuesday of this week, and it's almost as if they were coordinating something, because the New York Times article about the study came out yesterday. And actually, we know the New York Times got their hands on the study long before it was released, because they reached out to one of my colleagues on Monday asking us if we wanted to comment. We didn't comment on this because it's not my first rodeo with the New York Times, but I did provide them with full context. And I want to show you that full context in just a second, because this is an effort to take all of us down. And if you know the truth, it will not work. So let me give you.
First of all, what was the piano? Was the piano music as a reset or something? Does he have someone in the corner of the garage as a time for them to practice?
Again, that was in the New York Times. No one will believe the outcome.
Yes, notable right-wing organization BlackRock,
because they've changed the way we're electing a president this time, and they're saying that I was saying that Joe Biden is going to claim he wins, and then we can't believe it. That's what they're claiming I said. Okay. Scary, if that's what I meant. The New York Times hopes that's what I meant, but then when we corrected them, they ran with the story anyway, even though they know that's not true. Because
hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let's move this down here. And this right here. Try to find, let's see. This is from 2020. This isn't, here's the article, by the way, the New York Times he's referencing. This is, I believe, new, going back, January 4th, that goes into this. And Glenn's upset that he didn't get, that I guess that Bannon got for top billing. A coup against Trump, postal workers stealing the election. Welcome to 2020, according to right-wing media. On let's see, Wednesday, I think this. There you go. That same night, Glenn Beck released a 50-minute special on YouTube and his news website, The Blaze, titled "How America Ends." In one of his classic chalkboard presentations, Beck outlined what he sees as a plan to overthrow Trump, the grew from the experience of the Eastern European revolutions in the mid-2000s, so-called color revolution. This scheme supposedly involves Democrats, Hollywood, a group of economists called modern monetary theorists, unions, the Marxist deep states, and if it succeeds, Beck warns it will begin a new civil war. All right, I remember we covered this bullshit. Remember he uses his little footage.
Revolution becomes of primary value to the communists to the extent to which it can be used to condition the masses psychologically to accept the non-violent revolution, which is offered supposedly as the only alternative.
We were together, now we're nothing at all.
All right, I'm not gonna.
We've been through.
I'm not get the right. We've been through revolutions before. Okay. This here it is. This is it.
See, and I didn't realize it until I was watching that. I feel like this is the culmination of 20 years of work. And I hoped that this show would never come.
Oh, dear God.
Let me preface everything that I'm going to show you tonight.
Yes.
I wish was wrong, but I
Oh,
know it is
dear
not.
Oh, I know it's
Tonight's
not.
show is so important that we are putting it up on
So
YouTube. I dare
wait a
them.
minute. Hold on. Important enough for YouTube?
I want you to censor it. Go ahead. Tell me where we're wrong. Take it down, and our attorneys will be fighting with you every step of the way. Show me what we have wrong. I'm also offering $20 off Blaze TV subscription if you use the promo code BANTHIS.
Yeah. Ban this. Oh, my God. Get on with it. Hold on. So, all right. And it's January 6th, and then whenever a legitimate vote is tallied, we get the final. This is the color revolution stuff. And then America's End. And then this is the election leading up to this. State Department used Soros-linked media tracking tool to monitor journalists, Trump allies. Big picture. Look at that. What a slamming in the Super Jew picture. Look at that. Here you go. This is the layout. Media plus Hollywood, culture, education, union, social media, Google, FB, fucking YouTube. Me back at the desk. It's a story. America's End. Trump is our only hope. John Kerry. The end of the thing. And then what's this guy? Most of the specialists in Russia, diplomat, specialists in security, arms control. I'm neither. I can't quote Pushkin by heart, but I'm an expert on democracy, anti-dictatorial movements, and revolutions. Transitions from Post-Communism by Michael McFaul. That villain James Clyburn. Pillars of the Color Revolution. Right, this is the whole thing. Okay, so this is what he was airing. So I want you to know that you can watch that whole thing. I think we covered it, actually. I want to say we did. Did we do the whole thing? It's they all blend together at this point. But I'm pretty sure we did that whole thing. Yeah. And so this is the context by which he'll go, I wasn't pushing the big lie. They're taking me out of context. That's what he's alleging in this thing. I wasn't behind that. I was just saying it's suspect. It's just suspect, you know? How do you know? I'm just asking questions.
What the Times forgot to mention, the quote was pulled from a segment in which I was talking about the report from the Transition Integrity Project. Do you remember that? The project got a ton of media coverage, mostly because it predicted the end of America in all election result scenarios, except Biden winning in a landslide. So here's what I said on September 10th, 2020, when that came out. Listen.
Brooks has conducted war games to play out a range of election day and post-election day scenarios.
Virtually all the outcomes, save one, a Biden landslide, have ended up facilitating a nightmarish fallout. Well, what about a Trump landslide? I've been telling you only a landslide will do it. A landslide of Biden or a landslide of Trump. Otherwise, they have set this thing up that no one's going to believe the outcome. No one will believe the outcome because they've changed.
It was a landslide, by the way. Biden won.
The way we're electing a president this time. So now, wait a minute. So
have they? Have they? Because they haven't. I mean, we voted. More people voted than ever because more people had access than ever. We've had a bunch of recounts. We've had a bunch of audits. No panda shit was found.
Am I hyping the Republicans up to go out for violence? Or am I saying that it will take a landslide for either Biden or Trump? A landslide will be the only way that you'll be able to believe it.
That's an incredible.
Now,
that's legitimately incredible. I mean, usually they'll take something out of context.
Oh. He's got a blow. Oh, we're going to get a live on the air blow. By the way, they're doing it in the context of all the other shit he was posting. That's why they were saying multiple shows and leading up to it and for months and yada yada.
And try to make it look like it was something that it wasn't.
Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. You couldn't go to you're listening to Glenn Beck's screen for that? What if you didn't put it up for that? What the fuck was he doing when it was up before?
You're actually commenting on what was essentially a left-wing report. Like, yeah. It's not.
And we told them when we talked to them, you run with this. That's liable. That's liable. And you better attorney up, New York Times, because that's liable. That's not what I said. You knew it. We talked to you about it. We gave you the audio, so you knew the context, and you did it anyway to libel me. So anyway.
Yeah, but the problem is, asshole, is that if you file the lawsuit, knock yourself the fuck out, because they're gonna end up bringing in. They're gonna show all this shit to the fucking viewers. They're gonna bring up like here we go. Beck voter fraud. They're gonna look at okay, that yeah, here you go. November 4th. Conservative pundit, which is not a cute enough word to describe our roly-poly friend, Glenn Beck, floated the possibility of an armed insurrection if the election is, quote, stolen, with a final vote tally showing the Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden has won. Beck made the remarks during an election night coverage on The Blaze, the conservative network founded in 2012. Before all ballots in several key states have been counted, the host suggested any effort to continue counting would be equivalent to the U.S. founding fathers described as tyranny leading to armed conflict in the Revolutionary War. If you truly believe that this was stolen, I'm not saying it is at this point, but if you truly believe in the end that it was stolen, it would destroy our Constitution and fundamentally transform us into something that we are not. I keep hearing the words of the Declaration. It is their right, it is their duty to overthrow the government and then change and reinstitute something that protects those rights. There you go. This is the actual footage on the night.
But I've been thinking about this all day. If you truly believe that this was stolen, which I'm not saying it is at this point, but if you really truly believe in the end that it was stolen and they are going to
it doesn't have to be.
And destroy our Constitution and fundamentally transform us into something that we are not, I keep hearing the words of the Declaration. It is the right, it is their duty to overthrow those that government and the chains and reinstitute something that protects those rights.
Yeah, so that's where the the government, the judge in that case would throw out Glenn Beck's case and make him pay legal fees to the New York Times. And also, in this particular moment, what he's saying is, it doesn't have to be true. The election fraud, the big lie doesn't have to be true. All you have to do is believe it enough. If you believe it, then the Constitution says that you must follow your fucking fantasy by taking up arms against your own fucking country. Jesus. Remember this? You're not gonna, Glenn, you're not gonna bring up what you said on election night? No? Not gonna? All you gotta do is believe. If you believe the vote was stolen from Trump, you can kill all Americans. Sorry.
Such a it's such a strange thing too. I mean, they are obviously trying to go after now podcasts. They've gone out and tried to ban everybody from social media. They're done with that. They're going after podcasts and other things now. And that's, they are very much in the normal.
They're going after podcasts in general, or just the ones that were fomenting violent insurrection by basically saying, hey, you might want to watch out for these guys. We're not shutting them down. They don't even have any power to do that.
Wing playbook.
Right.
We're used to that. But, of all people, you've done dozens of events where all you do is preach about Martin Luther King. I listen to, just to go back to listen to some of it, all you do is say Martin Luther King, but then on those moments where you wind everybody up, this is, by the way, this happens a lot, and I'm glad he brought this up. This happens on the right wing a lot. Look, I talk about, I'm in fair all the time. I'm saying I don't want violent stuff. I'm not a violent guy, okay? I don't want this. I don't know what, none of us want this to be true, want it to be real. But if it is, and I'm not saying it is right now, but if it is, or if you believe it is, when push comes to shove, they've been shoving us, man. I don't want to do this, but they've been shoving us. They're shoving us all the time. And now after a while, you just get tired of getting shoved. I'm not a violent man, but right? And that's exactly part of the windup. The claims of peace all the time are actively part of that, especially when it's clearly bullshit. January 6th morning program before the actual events of that day occurred, and you're saying don't go out and cause mayhem in the streets.
Yeah, fucko, that's because you've already lost. You know it's a loss, and you just want to, you're going to make a living undermining the Biden presidency. You don't need violent shit fucking with your business plan for the next year when you can milk the big lie like Glenn Beck is, because he doesn't fucking really believe it. Those people believe it. The people who stormed the Capitol, they fucking believe it. Glenn Beck doesn't believe it. That's why he was saying that. That's why he was saying it has to be a landslide or people aren't going to believe it. It'll let it get that, all that kind of stuff. That's just him hedging himself. But then he's going to make money off the people who believe it and say it's okay for them to believe it, even though it's not true. See, he's looking at this in the context of the kind of cash he can make off of it.
Literally are advising the morning of January 6th not to do what wound up happening.
Yeah, because you talked to people like Bannon and all those other folks, and you knew it was coming. As a matter of fact, hey, January 6th, good old Stu here just gave me a good idea for once in his fucking life. Maybe you should subpoena Glenn Beck for his phone records on the 5th and the 4th, because I'm guessing they rattled his cage a little bit and said, get on the air and start telling people to show up. The president needs you.
And you did that for 10 years previous as well, consistently all the time, and then they try to make you out to the face.
Yeah, but he also used to be on CNN presenting himself as sort of semi-liberal and once argued for government health care because of colon polyps or some shit.
Of the insurrection? It's completely insane. It's as if they have never listened to the show in their entire lives.
Well, they haven't. What more importantly, you cannot listen to the New York Times. Liable.
Not libel. And again, that clip I just showed you would get them completely get out of jail free card. But also, take a fucking nap, Glenn. I had the gunk. It's going around. I coughed for 2 days. But obviously, I'm lower on the comorbidity scale than you are, pal. So let Stu run the show. I know you despise your crew and you have utter contempt for Stu and everybody else who works at the Blaze because your self-esteem is such shit that you think not only if anybody who thinks they suck can't believe anybody would work for them. That's one of the reasons why Trump has such contempt for the people who work for him. It's, this illusion that he's somehow an actual, neo-narcissist, that he actually has this inflated view of himself is all bullshit. He's got horribly low self-esteem. And anybody that works for him or is around him who tells him he's great, he's like, oh, fuck, these people must be dumb. The contempt he has for the women who slept with him shows that. You know what I mean? Woman sleeps with me, I'm like, clearly that shows taste and breeding on her part. But to him, it's like, oh my God, what a scrounger. So anyways, Trump lost, grind on that, enjoy yourself, blah, blah, blah.